Back live, we continue right here on Pittsburgh CW, 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Borders and Borders hotline. Bob Pompeani and Paul Zeise with you. Tonight in Madison Square Garden, the Big Ten Championship. It's ahead of everybody else because they wanted to be in New York City. And tonight Penn State won. Close game with Northwestern. They pulled it out at the end, 65-57. Tony Carr, a really good player, had 25 points. So that begs the question, Paul, now that Penn State has 20 wins since 2008, first time in 10 years they have 20 wins. Are they good enough to be in the NCAA tournament field?
Are they good enough, or
Should
is their
they
resume good enough? I still feel like their resume is not going to be good enough.
How many wins in this tournament?
I think they probably still need to win 2 more games to get there. You know, they've got enough. They've got a lot of bad losses. They don't have a ton of really good wins. I think, are they good enough? Absolutely. I think they're a pretty good team, but I just don't really think they've got the resume that's going to get them there.
All right, 412-575-2600. That is the number. We're going to the lines right now, beginning with Scooter in the North Hills. Hey, Scooter, how are you?
Hey, Paul, BZ, good to talk to you.
What's up?
Hey, just a question for you. How do you feel about everything with Sean Miller? I think it's kind of strange that he came out and spoke before ESPN did or whoever threw that story out there. And I would like to see ESPN come back and say something. I guess it was a new guy with that company that came out and broke this story. I'm not sure, but
well,
man,
as Paul said, they doubled down and said we stand by it, so they must have enough. But, you know, I thought this was supposed to be an all-encompassing situation, and I wonder when it will hit. It's the FBI involved, you know, Scooter, and that's never good news. It goes beyond the NCAA. Thanks for the call. But I was surprised Sean Miller spoke today. Only because normally in these situations, you know, he hasn't been with the team, and all of a sudden, not only is he back with the team, he's coming out very defiantly. That seemed a little weird to me, Paul.
Well, I think the big thing is they've got lawyers at Arizona, they've got legal people, and they've got people that understand how to do things. There's no way, if they thought for 1 second there was any chance that this was going to be, that this was true, that they would have let him make that statement. That's what leads me to believe that he's not the one lying. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's righteous. Like we talked about, his right-hand guy, you know, could do the whole Henry Hill thing.
That right-hand man has been with him at other stops.
Exactly. I mean, he could do the whole Henry Hill thing and, you know, turn state's evidence and all of a sudden start, you know, naming names, and it's a different situation.
Paul in Freeport joins us next right now. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Good. Hey, any truth to the rumors that assistant coach from Duke is coming to Pitt?
I don't know where you heard that. They haven't even fired Kevin Stallings yet. I assume they may do that, but have you heard anything like that?
I mean, which assistant?
I don't know.
We're talking about the guy that was at Oklahoma. What's his name? Capel.
Jeff Capel.
Jeff Capel.
I don't know. First of all, I don't, you know, they have another game at least to play. Yeah. And we'll see after that. But Heather Lyke seems, I would imagine, based on pressure and what's happened, that they're going to make a switch.
Let me ask you a question. If you're Jeff Capel and you're the associate head coach at Duke.
No.
Don't you have a better job?
If you're anyone on that Duke bench.
I'm saying, don't you have a better job already than? Because
this could be a tough job for anyone to come into, unless you're somebody who can get right to the recruiting game and bring people in.
And let's not forget that Jeff Capel had some NCAA stuff, troubles, you know, with the whole Blake Griffin stuff out in Oklahoma. But go ahead.
No. All right, let's go out to Paul in Greensburg. Paul, you're up next right here on the Sports Call. Go ahead.
Yes, I just got a comment on the Penguins. It's pretty bad when Jake Getzel leads the team in hits. They should have never got rid of Reeves, and they're going to get beat up from now on. That's all.
Well, I mean, this was a perfect game for Reeves, and this is a big physical Boston team. They added to it. You know, David Backes is a big veteran guy. Marchant plays physical. I think if you look at their blue line, certainly Chara is one of the most physical guys, and he has long reach. You remember Chara in the last series they played with Pittsburgh? It was Crosby and Chara going at it almost all the time. Paul, this is a matchup that could give the Penguins problem if it ever comes to that, but it may not come to that.
Right, they got to beat probably Tampa, right? I mean, the Boston.
Well, it depends.
Or Toronto.
It depends on where. If they're two, have to play probably Toronto, and they don't have to worry about Tampa until the finals.
But that's what I mean. I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the Boston. They've got their own issues to try and get out to the Eastern Conference Final before we even talk about that.
But they got a good defense. I like it. In addition to Chara with McAvoy, who's a 20-year-old kid, and Torrey Krug, who can play. They brought in Nick Holden. They have some players, and it's going to be a tough matchup for anyone.
And
it all comes down to, Paul, we can say what we want. It all comes down to goaltending. The Penguins rode hot goaltending each of the last 2 years. Whoever's going to win must have that first and foremost over anything else.
Yeah, they do. And the scary thing is they scored, 8 or 9 goals or whatever it was tonight without one of their best offensive players.
Bergeron's still out, right? Let's go out to Matt in North Fayette. Hey, Matt, welcome to the Sports Call. How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking my call. Paul, I couldn't agree with you more about Penn State basketball. I'm a Penn State alum and a Penn State fan, but the way the end of the season was horrible. They need to at least get to the conference championship, and I really don't see that happen. I just can't see them beating Ohio State 3 times. I'm just saying that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think your assessment is spot on. Just the way the end of the season was horrible with those 3 straight losses. Yeah, after you beat Ohio State, great. I mean, you beat them good, but then, you lose to
Got to win those games, right? Those are resume killers.
Yeah, you lost to Purdue. Then you lost at home to Michigan, and then you went on the road and lost to Nebraska. You had to at least beat Nebraska out of that. That was horrible. And it's just my personal opinion. I fully agree with Paul on it. There's no way Penn State makes it because I don't really see them getting past Ohio State.
3 times it's hard to do. I think the team that I like a lot coming out of the Big Ten is Purdue. I think they have all the components necessary to make a deep run, not the least of which is senior leadership. They got guys on that team who've been around for a long time, Paul, and I think that's a big asset.
They have seniors. They got size. They can shoot. You know what I mean? They defend well. They rebound well. There is a lot to like about Purdue. There's no question about it. I mean,
Michigan State, though,
kind of one of those wide open, tournaments this year, though.
How many teams, realistically? Because I said last night 10. I can make a case for 10 teams I think that could win it.
Yeah, I would go there. I mean, I would have to, but in my head, yeah, probably 8 to 10, no question.
Jeremy in Heidelberg is up next. Hey, Jeremy, what's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, I just want to make a couple comments. Boston did look pretty good tonight, and also we got Letang this year going into the playoffs, hopefully. So, maybe the defense will stand up tall.
Yeah, I mean, and he needs to
let you talk.
Right. He's a guy who, I think, if you look at Chris Letang, first of all, he came off neck surgery and he played the entire season, which I was surprised. I thought he would be slow to get back into the lineup by design. It never happened that way. He's one of those guys who wants to be out there and he can rough it up. He also can be emotional to the point where he loses it sometimes. But it's going to take more than just Chris Letang. They won last year without him, but they brought in, they had some depth there. And I just wonder about that moving forward. But he's still a big asset, and that power play is going to have to carry him, quite frankly, Paul. Their penalty killing was bad.
He's got to play better than he's played, though. He has.
Well, he was at one point a -17. He's now a -5. So he's improved from that point.
He's playing better. He's still. I think there's another gear for him where he can play much better than he's played.
Line 3 we go. It's Jerry in Pleasant Hills. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Bob. What's going on?
How are you?
Hey, good. I just wanted to get your thoughts basically on Hunwick and Alexiak, that pairing there, and what you think maybe possibly we could do to switch that up, maybe get somebody else on that line, man.
Well, Chad Rueda would be my call, but I haven't heard from him at all. He hasn't played since I think December, and that surprises me.
I know, man. It's
I know he got injured, so I don't know what this. But I think he's now ready. He's been skating, I know. So, Paul, that's a guy who had a pretty good. At least he gives you another body in there. But as far as that pairing itself, I think it's problematic. I like Oleksiak, but I think Hunwick is not what you would expect from a guy to be on the top 6 defense, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, but the funny thing is they've got to figure out who would be a suitable replacement. Who would be somebody?
Well, again, Rueda would be the only option.
Yeah, I mean, or somebody they bring up.
Padan is a big guy, but I don't know.
That's what I mean. I think that they don't have a lot of other answers. I think the Hunwick has to figure it out if they're going to do anything. If he doesn't, I don't know what This could be a problem area that goes all the way into the playoffs.
We got to go to break. We'll take it right now. Come back with more of your phone calls. We're right here live on Pittsburgh CW.